I think that the amazing thing about the artists, and most of the artists that we get to work with, is that they are also, marvelous people and well-intentioned. And we work with everybody from gospel artists. I brought an artist named Eric Dozier. I'll leave all these with you, and you can play them whenever you like.
Oh, that'd be great.
But Eric Dozier is an amazing.
One family?
Yeah, the choir is called One Human Family.
One Human Family.
Is this Canadian
No,
artist?
it's American artist.
American artist.
But he lives here now in Canada.
Oh,
He lives in
very good.
Victoria, and just an amazing guy who's grew up in the tradition of gospel music in Tennessee, but then managed to fuse gospel music, which is often just associated with Christianity, into really a much more universal vision of the acceptance of all the great religions, the promotion of the idea of the oneness of religion. And so it's an integrated choir with white and black singers, which he really wanted to do because he wanted it to be the One Human Family choir, right?
You'd get a human sound that way.
That's right.
And so all of these artists are at liveunity.com?
Yes. Yeah, you can go to liveunity.com and order them there or listen to clips there.
Oh, excellent.
So how often do you get to travel the world, and or are you doing a lot of music in Canada these days?
I travel a lot. I travel in Europe a lot. I travel in the Middle East a lot. I was in Dubai recently.
Oh, really?
In
Dubai.
the Persian Gulf. And I traveled to, when I worked on the Mel Gibson movie, The Passion of Christ, I traveled to probably 20 different countries through Europe and the Middle East.
What aspect of the film you worked with the music?
I did all the music research for
Really?
the film in terms of trying to establish what you would consider to be, in a sense, ancient music.
Right.
Or at least from the time period.
And how do you
And
go
then,
about?
I wrote several pieces and had a lot of music in the film.
Oh, wow. So how did you go about researching all that? And
Mostly through travel and also just my experience because I've worked a lot in that part of the world.
But would you get transcripts or not transcripts, music sheets, or would you hear folk?
I actually go out and record folk artists.
So this is music they had been handed down to them?
Yes. So a lot of mostly traditional music, and then with some of the artists I got to write pieces and collaborate with them on the recordings.
So you sort of emulated that style by listening to them and making
Yes. Yeah. And we recorded a lot of pieces right there, like Lemon Manassian, who's probably one of the best Duduk players in the world. I recorded him in a little hotel.
That's what?
Duduk, D-U-D-U-K. It's like a double reed ancient instrument of Armenia. It's a very sweet sound. It's almost clarinet, it's somewhere between clarinet and oboe, and it's a very melodious sound. And for example, in the scene in the Passion of Christ where Jesus is on the cross and is dying, that whole 3-minute piece there is all Duduk that I wrote for Duduk and voices and flutes. Voices sort of sustaining, and then the Duduk doing the melody.
I'm Mark Scott.
And I'm Irma. We've got the amazing Mr. Jack Lenz here.
Now, Jack, I was saying earlier that you're probably more known by people in the industry, and you're quite happy to be just the guy that makes the emotion through music.
Sure. Absolutely.
Now a lot of your shows, and that to me is one of the most important elements of a movie or a television show, is the sound. Right. It's the music, and it like violins make me cry, that sort of thing. And it's how you do that that is so magical.
It's setting the tone. You set the tone.
Yeah.
Is there a formula to that? Is this something you just made up?
No, I think what you do is you learn to respond. It's an art in itself to respond to picture, to respond to something that you see, and then want to be able to express musically what you think would work, to enhance the emotion, to bring energy, to all the things that music can do, to inspire the picture too.
But your sound can make or break a movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And movies like this Mel Gibson movie that you're talking about,
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. Now that it has to be about the music more than the language, because it isn't even in English.
Right, and that's why, great filmmakers and great directors understand that film is a visual language and film is an oral language. It's those two languages. And dialogue-intensive movies are often not as interesting for people. it's, you know, he's as wacky as he is, he's a very interesting, wonderful filmmaker. And that's the fascinating thing about people who can communicate in a visual language without knowing what people are saying. Like, he didn't want to even put subtitles on that movie.
Yeah,
You would have known everything about that movie without ever seeing a word on screen.
When you're working on a movie and you know that subtitles are going to be incorporated, does that change your approach to music?
No, I don't think so. It only means the door is more open. There's more opportunity to express through music.
Well, I'm thinking that you listen more when you have to read subtitles, so that the effect of music would have more impact.
Sure, absolutely. And you know, the greatest, I mean, music videos have that potency because they are all about music and visuals. Some of the greatest pieces of working film over the century or so that we've had it have been all about music. Films started as silent films, but they weren't silent films, they had music.
Yes, they had orchestra music.
That's right, and piano music, and all kinds of ways that people understood that language. So it's an art to be able to combine visual and musical language together and have it speak to the human soul.